Girl, when you finish working out and your body is all sweaty and glistening,
Yes, Martin.
put them funky sneakers out in the hallway.
Welcome to MsMojo, and today we're counting down our picks for the top 20 best sitcoms of the 1990s.
But are you still master of your domain?
I am king of the county. You?
Lord of the manor.
For this list, we'll be looking at the best situational comedies that defined TV in the 90s. Series that premiered in the late 80s and/or ended in the 2000s qualify, as long as the bulk of the show's run occurred in the 1990s. We won't be considering animated programs, though, as those deserve a list of their own. What's your favorite 90s sitcom? Let us know in the comments. Number 20, Boy Meets World.
You know, you're not doing your body any favors loading up on junk like that.
Oh, thanks, Mr. Feeney. And please enjoy that high-vitamin astronaut drink you're sucking down.
In September of 1993, a little show called Boy Meets World premiered, starring the likes of Ben Savage and Danielle Fishel. It began a 7-season run, giving us one of the best sitcoms of the decade in the process. The show became a staple of ABC's TGIF lineup. And we're not exaggerating when we say that for many 90s kids, it was considered must-see TV. The sweet coming-of-age sitcom caught the eye of teens, which was positively reflected in the ratings. And, of course, it always managed to provide us with laughs, life lessons, and plenty of very special episodes.
Not children anymore.
When did that happen? I don't know. Today, I think.
You guys want to get ice cream or something?
Number 19, Spin City. Everyone remembers Michael J. Fox on Family Ties in the 80s, but lest we forget about his run in the 90s on Spin City.
Hi. Am I interrupting something?
Oh, no, I'm just finishing a staff meeting. I'll just be 1 minute. Thank you. Hi there.
Fox was Mike Flaherty, New York's deputy mayor who worked hard and played hard. Crafted by Gary David Goldberg, who created Family Ties, and Bill Lawrence, who would go on to create Scrubs, the sitcom had some definite talent behind the scenes. And there wasn't a lack for talent in front of the camera either. Spin City ran for 6 seasons, though Fox exited after 4 due to his Parkinson's disease, only returning for a few episodes later on. Charlie Sheen's character took on the job of deputy mayor for the remainder of the series' run.
Surprised you had the guts to do this, considering you broke up with me by leaving me a note.
Well, I had so many complicated things to say, I wanted to write them down.
Joan, later.
Number 18, News Radio.
Fire off a distress flare immediately. Yes, sir.
Not in here, you idiot!
We should probably start by explaining that, in the 90s, many people got their news from the radio. Okay, with that piece of history out of the way, let's talk about this great show. Set in the offices of an all-news, all-the-time AM radio station, the workplace sitcom featured some pretty big comedy actors, including Dave Foley and Phil Hartman.
There are certain bare necessities we require, nay, demand, in order to continue functioning as productive workers.
Such as...
A reclining chair for our smoking area.
The well-written series was popular with critics and wasn't afraid to push boundaries, even taking us to places like space in the process. News Radio never really got the love it deserved, but we remember it fondly. Number 17, Third Rock from the Sun. A show about aliens who come to Earth isn't anything new, but a funny, smart, well-written sitcom about aliens who come to Earth and take the form of humans, that's new. Or at least it was back in 1996 when Third Rock from the Sun premiered on NBC.
Wow. What was that? I don't know, but I want another one.
You can imagine a premise like this would be rife with comedic opportunities, as the aliens observed and assimilated into the human world. It was, and the show did a great job turning those opportunities into comedy gold. The cast featured a young Joseph Gordon-Levitt, as well as the wonderful Jane Curtin and John Lithgow. The latter actor snagged Emmy noms in each of the show's 6 seasons, taking home the award 3 times.
Every night, my honey lemon dies in a long and watch the hawk making lazy circles in the sky.
Number 16, Martin.
Then we have some people that get offended by some of the language you hear. You know, like hell and damn. And the only reason why we use those words is because we can't say.
Before he was a bad boy, Martin Lawrence was, well, Martin. Lawrence played DJ Martin Payne on this sitcom, as well as a number of other characters. The series' comedic energy and timing are just one of the reasons the show was a big hit with the audience. The protagonist's hysterically difficult relationship with his girlfriend's best friend Pam is surely another.
This is my best friend here, Tommy. What up, Tom? And this is man's best friend, Pam.
Whatever, Ear Jordan. Step to the rear. Step to the rear.
Although it's many, many years old now, Martin has been discovered by a slew of folks thanks to reruns. The series' popularity was strong enough in 2022 for BET Plus to air Martin: The Reunion.
I think that's why we all really came together to be here for this, and we understand how important it is. We may not have understood it in the moment, but we understand the legacy today.
Number 15. Everybody Loves Raymond. The 1990s were a heyday for stand-up comedians getting sitcoms, and one of the best of the decade was Ray Romano's Everybody Loves Raymond.
I always look for the good, Raymond.
Yeah, because you already got the bad and the ugly.
But while he was the titular star, the amazing supporting cast helped make it a true hit, and a show that many consider one of the funniest ever created. It also made Patricia Heaton and Brad Garrett big-time TV stars, and helped introduce the awesome Doris Roberts and Peter Boyle to a whole new generation.
It's not eggs. It's that fake egg crap.
It tastes exactly the same.
Yes, exactly like crap.
Smart and funny, the series got to the heart of the love and frustration that is family, something so many of us can understand. Number 14. Family Matters.
You're the cop.
Are Tony's parents gonna be there? Of
course.
Beer?
No.
Girls?
No.
How late?
2.
Bingo! Book 'em, Dano!
Another member of the TGIF family, Family Matters debuted in 1989 as a spin-off of ABC's Perfect Strangers. Focusing on the life of Harriet Winslow, her policeman husband, and their kids, Family Matters became one of the most enduring black sitcoms of all time. The show had a lot going for it, but of course, we have to take a moment to mention Steve Urkel's impact. Played by Jaleel White, Urkel reportedly wasn't initially meant to be a central figure. As we all know, the opposite ended up becoming true, as he stole the show and became something of a cultural phenomenon.
Point your fingers up to the sky and talk through your nose way up high. Spin and dip and jump and cavort and finish it off with a laugh and snort.
Needless to say, we were in good hands with Urkel and the rest of the Family Matters crew. Number 13. Mr. Bean. Many of us may have seen a Mr. Bean sketch here and there, but those who remember the 90s likely know that it was an actual series, initially running on British television for 15 episodes over a 5-year run. With minimal words actually being spoken, the show hinges almost entirely on Rowan Atkinson's masterful physical comedy talents, both subtle and not. And talk about widespread appeal. Besides the acclaim and love it received in the UK, Mr. Bean has since been broadcast in a slew of different places around the world. Today, the character is instantly recognizable, having appeared in a number of other media, and we owe that to this sitcom. Number 12. Saved by the Bell.
I'm sorry about all the fighting, all right?
Yeah, man. It's really dumb. Me too. Friends?
Friends.
Although the first and last episodes aired in primetime, Saved by the Bell was, as most of us remember, a staple of our early 90s Saturday morning viewing. Not only did the Bayside crew make us laugh, but we learned a lot as well. After all, when it comes to very special type episodes, one of the first sitcoms that comes to mind has got to be this one.
Hey, Jesse, these are a lot stronger than coffee. It says right here they may be habit-forming.
They're harmless. They sell them over the counter.
That doesn't make them safe. You shouldn't be taking these.
From substance use to women's rights to environmentalism, the series sure didn't shy away from getting serious. And although it ended in 1993, the rest of the decade was thankfully filled with spin-offs dubbed Saved by the Bell: The College Years and Saved by the Bell: The New Class. Number 11. Living Single.
Be right down.
Damn, he is a good catch.
While proper black representation is often lacking across the entertainment industry, Living Single delivered. The underrated gem didn't necessarily receive the widespread attention it should have, but it remains a sitcom staple. Indeed, it remains fondly remembered by its fans, thanks in large part to the smart, funny, and very relatable identity grounding the plot about 6 friends living in New York. If that description sounds somewhat familiar and reminds you of Friends, you're not alone. Many have even claimed that the latter sitcom, which premiered a year later, was a living single ripoff. Number 10. Home Improvement.
That's Tim Taylor, care of Tool Time. P.O. Box 3273.
Al? Does the words job search mean anything to you at all?
While he's still well known, the 1990s arguably marked the peak of Tim Allen's popularity. From The Santa Claus to Toy Story, the actor was practically everywhere throughout the decade. And it all happened thanks in large part to the small screen, more specifically, Home Improvement. The sitcom took Allen's brand of tool-loving stand-up and gave it, as he loved to do, more power.
You know, men, when we want a job done right and we want it done quick, what do we need?
Laughs, heartfelt moments, and Pamela Anderson all helped make this show a success. Indeed, it consistently performed well in the ratings, which is no small feat, and that says it all.
And here it is, here's a song about tool time. Here's a song, here is the tool time song.
And here's a tool time gong.
Number 9. Murphy Brown.
And if I make you happy, I don't need to do more. 'Cause you make me
Where do we even begin with Murphy Brown? It had great writing, quirky characters, and an ability to explore relevant issues without sacrificing humor. We'd also be remiss not to take a second to shout out the title character herself, who cemented her legacy as one of the best sitcom characters around. All of this was anchored wonderfully by the talented Candice Bergen.
Whether by choice or circumstance, families come in all shapes and sizes, and ultimately, what really defines a family is commitment, caring, and love.
The show was nominated for Outstanding Comedy Series at the Emmys 5 times throughout its run, taking home that specific award on 2 occasions. Though the 2018 revival was short-lived, we'll always have a place in our hearts for Murphy Brown. Number 8. Married with Children.
This! It's a steak, baby. Doesn't it look good?
I love you.
These days, Ed O'Neill might be best known as the head of the Pritchett clan on Modern Family, but for a group of folks who came of age on 90s sitcoms, O'Neill will always be the patriarch of the Bundy household. Married with Children was reportedly Fox's first ever primetime show, and it just so happened to be a great one.
Someone stole an idea from me and cost me a modeling job, so I'm going to handle this the only way that us Bundys know how. With swift and blinding violence.
The comedy was crass, over the top, and at times controversial. But we'd say it definitely contributed to giving the network an identity and struck a chord with viewers, lasting an impressive 11 seasons. Number 7. Mad About You.
We have a very specific function, you and I, in the whole grand scheme of things.
Wait a minute, you're saying we can't be farmers because we're going to upset some delicate balance of nature?
That, and I look chunky in overalls.
Don't be fooled by the 12-episode revival in 2019. The original 7-season run of Mad About You was fantastic. The on-screen connection, both emotional and comedic, between Paul Reiser and Helen Hunt was the heart of the show, and they brought the goods. The series explored all sides of relationships, both good and bad, and you didn't have to be living in a beautiful New York apartment to relate to the couple's highs and lows.
I'm really just so sorry.
You don't have to be sorry. I'm the one who has to be sorry.
I just want you.
I love you.
Wildly enough, the show never picked up the Emmy for Outstanding Comedy Series. Although it was nominated many times, Helen Hunt did snag a few well-deserved Emmys for her work on the show, though. Number 6. The Nanny. She was working in a bridal shop when she got broken up with. She then started going around selling makeup and ended up at a residence belonging to a producer who brought her on as his family's nanny. It sounds like the setup to a sitcom, and that's exactly what it is.
Come on, Gracie. Let's leave Father alone to hire someone else to take care of his problem children.
Oh, you're a bitter little person, aren't you?
Oh, we're gonna get along fine.
The Nanny was a fish-out-of-water tale that plopped the bold and sociable Jewish-American fish Fran Fine into the wealthy and conservative waters of Maxwell Sheffield's New York. The situations were definitely ripe for comedy, and Fran's sass gave the humor a little bite as well. And who could forget that iconic voice?
I like it. I wonder how long it's gonna last.
Number 5, Roseanne.
I told her to be home by supper.
You let her go? She's grounded, Dan.
She is?
Yeah.
Well, I guess I've been naughty.
Roseanne Barr's problematic behavior has perhaps marred the legacy of the sitcom, getting the revival axed, though it was later reworked as The Connors, and leaving a stain on it for many fans. While separating the woman from the show is hard, there's no denying that the series was important for its realistic take on working families and not shying away from issues like sexuality, substance use, and violence.
He told me that I didn't believe in him, and he told me a million times when he gets in a mood like that I should just walk away, and I didn't. I just kept pushing him and pushing him.
Don't say any more.
Also, representing plus-sized characters as fully realized people as opposed to one-dimensional sidekicks was pretty unheard of at the time. Roseanne ended the year with top 10 level ratings in 7 of its 9 original seasons, even hitting number 1 in season 2. Number 4, The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air.
Now this is a story all about how my life got flipped, turned upside down, and I'd like to take a minute, just sit right there. I'll tell you how I became the prince of a town called Bel-Air.
We all know the theme song for this sitcom was awesome, to put it mildly, but that doesn't mean we can forget about how good the program itself was beyond that opening tune. Will Smith was already a pretty popular rapper, but the success of the series showed he could also act, and was the launchpad for a career that would see him become one of the biggest stars around. The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air could be silly, but it could also be serious and heartbreaking.
I learned how to drive, I learned how to shave, I learned how to fight without him. I had 14 great birthdays without him. He never even sent me a damn card. The hell with him!
Case in point, that Uncle Phil hug was easily one of the most memorable sitcom moments of the decade. You definitely didn't have to be from West Philadelphia or Bel-Air to love this one. Number 3, Frasier.
People of Seattle, listen to me! We are not barbarians! We are not Neanderthals! And we are not French! Do you hear that, you up there?
Given that Cheers was one of the best sitcoms of the 80s, its spin-off, Frasier, certainly had a lot to live up to. And while spin-offs don't always reach the preceding show's heights, Frasier came darn close. Some might even argue that Dr. Crane's 11 seasons in Seattle were better than all those years he spent going to a bar in Boston.
Lucky it didn't set off the sprinkler system.
Yes, fortunately, we have a built-in safety delay for just this sort of thing. Gives you 15 seconds before the sprinklers kick in.
The insightful material and top-notch acting earned the series 5 straight Emmys for Outstanding Comedy Series. Not to mention the fact that in 2000, the British Film Institute identified it as, quote, the top overseas program. Number 2, Seinfeld.
Well, I just got back from swimming in the pool, and the water was cold.
You mean shrinkage?
Yes!
Seinfeld premiered in 1989, and for a second, it looked like it might not quite make it big. Yada yada yada, the show ended its 9-season run in 1998 with over 75 million people tuning in to watch the series finale. Although it started off slow, the show about nothing became one of the best somethings in the history of television. From shrinkage to No Soup for You, Seinfeld is easily one of, if not the, most quotable series that's ever been on television.
Very good. Very good. You know something? No soup for you!
Disregarding the typical sitcom tropes of heartfelt moments and character development, it mainly cared about one thing, being funny. And boy did it go above and beyond on that front.
Oh, this is funny? I'm being funny?
Yeah.
George, is this funny? It's funny.
Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. You have the option to be notified for occasional videos or all of them. If you're on your phone, make sure you go into your settings and switch on notifications. Number 1, Friends.
Pivot! 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 Pivot!
Shut up! Shut up! Shut up!
Iconic and uber quotable, Friends was arguably the pop culture phenomenon of the decade. It practically took over the airwaves, performing strongly in the ratings every single season it was on the air. Indeed, few television relationships took over the zeitgeist like Ross and Rachel's tumultuous relationship. Even Rachel's haircut became a major thing.
And that hairdo lasted about a total, I think, of 7 months.
Right.
And it has had legs of 15 years.
All of these aspects and more speak to the sitcom's effect on people's lives. After all, we loved these friends right from the start. We related to their lives, their troubles, their ups and downs. They made us laugh out loud and they made us cry. So to Friends we give a big, how you doing?
Oh, please.
Hey, how you doing?
Do you agree with our picks? Check out this other recent clip from MsMojo. And be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.